Hi, I'm Leah Wentworth from McCracken County Public Library, and today we are going to make a decoupage container. If you have got your kit from the library, you should have got a bag with some supplies and a container of Mod Podge. There is a box to put together in two pieces and a bunch of old books that were falling apart. We put some book pages in for you to cut or tear up and use. So you can use any kind of paper for this craft. If you have some patterned paper, if you have an old book that you want to tear up because it's falling apart and replaceable, you can do that. Your box comes in two pieces, and putting this foldable part together might be the most complicated part of this, and it might get a little messy with the Mod Podge. I have also brought some paper towels and some wipes and a cup of water in case I need some water. And I have brought a paintbrush, but I think I might actually prefer using my fingers for this. So you can do either depending on how messy you want to be. So to fold this box together, first you just have to fold each line on it. So it took me a minute to figure this out because it seems like there's extra folds here. But what it does is when you start folding all of these pieces together, your box is going to have a thick wall like this. It is not just a simple cardboard side. Then, see, I put these small flaps in, fold this like this. You can see that. So now the two sides are like that, and then these flaps can hook together. They don't. They kind of curve out when they're hooked together. They don't lay flat, but that's okay. And then this part folds over that. And you've got to fold down the bottom flap. So when you get it just right, it should stay in there. Of course, the Mod Podge you can use as some glue a little bit. So yeah, you hook these together, fold this over, and that is the base of your box. So you have your box in two pieces. There's this bottom piece or inside piece, and then there is sort of a sleeve, we'll call it. It goes around the outside. It's kind of a tight fit to slide this together. So when you'll need to keep that in mind as we put this together. You can't really add a lot of layers to that inside box because it will, then the outside won't fit. So this is what your box will look like, and the inside should slide out like that. When you have it all put together, just so. So, but we're gonna work with this outside piece first. We don't really have to add a lot of decoration to this inside piece. The only pieces that you can see when it's closed are the two ends. And I also brought some scissors. Those aren't in your kit, but you can use scissors or you can just tear. And the book pages that I got in here have some illustrations on them, but are mostly print. I do like the colors though on this illustration. So I might carefully tear some strips of that. And I might alternate the colors pieces with the words pieces. And so this Mod Podge is what we're going to use to decorate the box, and you should have your little cup of Mod Podge, and it is glue basically that will dry hard and clear So it's white right now, but it will dry clear. And if you want a thin layer, so you might want to use the brush or your finger. The brush might go faster to make like a base layer underneath. You don't want to cover the whole thing because it will dry before you're done. I've got one side covered, and as you'll notice as you go along, you have to keep adding Mod Podge. It dries pretty quick, and you want to add Mod Podge on the top also. So you want to spread some on the top to really hold it down. And if you have any little edges that are curling up, you might have to get a little that Mod Podge under there and spread it out. And don't worry about getting the white Mod Podge all over it because it will dry clear. You don't want any big globs of it because it'll take too long to dry, but when it's thin like this, it should dry pretty quick. And because I was tearing the paper, I couldn't get it perfect on the edge, and I don't want to go around into the box because then it might not fit on the base. So I'm just going to trim the edges now that I'm done with this top, what I'm going to use for the top. And I like the pattern that I made with the words and the illustrations, and I'm just going to keep going around the whole outside of the box. So I have covered the whole outside, and it is still a little wet. Keep going over, finding little places that I want to smooth down with a little more Mod Podge, make it stick. I have to go along the edges still and trim, but I want to wait until the Mod Podge dries a little bit. And I'm going to set it up on its edge so it doesn't stick to the table because it was sticking to the table a little bit. I did cover the table with plastic because this is very messy, and now I also feel like I need to go wash my hands because they're very sticky. I'm also going to cover the two ends of this box, but only the ends, because if you start covering the sides, it might not fit into the sleeve like it's supposed to. Just the ends of the box. And now I just need to let these pieces dry. They're drying pretty quick. This is already kind of dry to the touch, but it will take at least 15 minutes before I can trim off the edges real good, and I'm gonna go wash my hands. Okay, so I went away and I washed my hands and I let this dry, and now I can trim the edges where I had the paper sticking out a little. So get that nice and clean on the edge. These I already trimmed. Oh, one little bit over here. I guess because I wasn't very precise with my Mod Podging. And if I might have to come back and add a little Mod Podge here where it's sticking out. Now that it's dry, this little corner right here might bother me. But you should be able to slide your box together. Maybe a little tight, a little tricky. Just go slowly, don't force it. Or now that it's dry, you have this very secure little box. Once you close it up, it's almost like a little hidden treasure box. Once you get it put back together, you have your little treasure box, Mod Podge. And I kind of enjoy some of the words that are showing. It says and stuff here. Just, I don't know why that tickles me. In the illustrations that are showing. You can always add some words too. If there are specific words you want to pick out from the text, you can go back and add some poetry on there. But that is your Mod Podge Decoupage made with Mod Podge box.